What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Talkin Sports with Jake. We got another great show for you guys. World Series Game 3. Phillies shut out the Astros last night 7-0. They hit 5 home runs off of Lance McCullers, the Astros starter. They knocked him out a lot earlier than expected, knocked him out in the 5th inning. They win 7-0. They take a 2-1 series lead Game 4 tonight at 8:03 p.m. I don't know why baseball loves their really weird time, 8:03, but 8:03 is the start time for Game 4. Once again in Philadelphia. Houston goes with Christian Javier, who's their number 4 starter who has pitched well this postseason, pitched well this year. The Phillies go back to Aaron Nola. Aaron Nola will start Game 4. So he's also started Game 1. Of course, he's their co-ace, I guess you could say, with Zach Wheeler. So Game 4 tonight, Phillies are 2-1. Phillies win tonight. They will definitely be in the driver's seat. But Houston wins, and obviously it's anyone's series. The Chicago White Sox have hired Pedro Grifol as their next manager. Pedro Grifol has been with the Royals organization for a while. He played minor league ball in 2013. He was hired by the Royals as a coach in the minor leagues. By May of that year, he was promoted to the big league staff to be their assistant hitting coach. In 2014, he was the catching instructor. And in 2015, he won a World Series with the Kansas City Royals. He was the catching instructor from 2014 to 2019 for 6 seasons. And then after Ned Yost retired, after 2019, they brought in Mike Matheny in 2020. Matheny named Grifol his bench coach, which is a role that he held for the last 3 seasons. And now the Royals, of course, just cleaned house. They fired their manager, Mike Matheny, and of course they fired their president of baseball operations, Dayton Moore, as well. So he probably wasn't coming back anyway. And the White Sox have hired him. Interesting hire. He's a guy who hasn't done a ton of interviews over the last few years. I think he has done maybe in the past, but last couple years hasn't done a ton of interviews for open manager job. But he has been a rumored candidate for a future manager for quite a few years now. He's been with the Royals for the last 10 seasons. He's with two different regimes under Ned Yost. And then he was the bench coach for Mike Matheny. And I think it says a lot that Mike Matheny comes in 2020 and not only keeps him on the staff, he keeps the guy who's a catching coach on the staff, but gives him a promotion. I think that definitely says a lot. He's not he's a much younger guy than a lot. Of course, Lewis was pretty ancient. He's in his early 50s, so he's a little younger. He's never managed before. But, like I said, he's been the bench coach for the Royals for the last 3 seasons. Mike Matheny, I think, is a pretty mediocre manager that he was under. He was under Ned Yost for about 6 or 7 seasons. And Ned Yost was a very good manager. So he's got a decent amount of experience as an assistant coach. We'll see. I don't love the hire, I'm not going to lie. I think there was better candidates out there. Maybe give Joe Girardi another shot. This is a team in the White Sox that has a lot of talent. You look, offensively, you got Tim Anderson, Yohan Moncada, Luis Robert, Eloy Hernandez. They recently Jose Abreu pitching-wise. You got Lucas Giolito. Lance Lynn. You got some good arms in the bullpen. Liam Hendricks, Aaron Bummer. This is a ton of talent on this team. They were about a 500 team this year. That was a major disappointment. They were expected to win the American League Central and possibly be a World Series contender. And they finished in, I'm sure they got second place. They may have gotten second place, but still, they're a very mediocre team. We're a lot worse off than we thought they were going to be. So I think Connie, the guy for a little bit more experience, but we will see what happens. He's probably ready to be a manager. We shall see. I don't love the hire, but I don't think it's horrible, and of course, we'll see how it all plays out. We are at scores from hockey last night. Rangers over the Flyers, 1-0 in overtime. Chris Kreider with the game winner in overtime. Lightning over the Senators, 4-3. Golden Knights over the Capitals, 3-2 in overtime. Golden Knights also are blazing on start. They are 9-2. Islanders over the Blackhawks, 3-1. The Wild over the Canadiens, 4-1. Bruins over the Penguins, 6-5 in overtime. Bruins are 9-1 this year. They have the best record in the NHL. And that's with they're still down Brad Marchand, Troy McAvoy, and Matt Grzelcyk, so very impressive. Jim Montgomery's tenure there is also a good start. Stars over the Kings, 5-2. Stars are looking good. They are 6-3-1. Kraken over the Flames, 5-4. Oilers over the Predators, 7-4. Coyotes over the Panthers, 3-1. Devils over the Canucks, 5-2. Devils are 7-3. Canucks really struggling, just 6-2. And Ducks over the Sharks, 6-5 in a shootout. Ducks starting to play a little bit better, but Sharks look like crap as well. They are 3-1 this year. So we got for hockey. Talk about some basketball. The scores from last night: Bulls over the Nets, 108-99. That's fresh off of firing their coach, of course. Jacques Vaughn right now is the interim head coach. Get to them. Some news about the Nets head coaching search for a full-time guy shortly. But Bulls get that game. Zach LaVine, 20 of his 29 in the fourth quarter. Heat over the Warriors, 116-109. Warriors are struggling a little bit, now just 3-5. Thunder over the Magic, 116-108. Chagas Alexander had 34 points. He's off to a great start this year. And Suns over the Timberwolves, 116-107. Cameron Johnson had 29 points on that one. So I mentioned yesterday that the Nets are looking into hiring either Ime Udoka or possibly Quinn Snyder. Ime Udoka is the clear-cut favorite to be the next head coach, and he is very possible he could be hired within the next day or two. He could be the next head coach. Now, basketball-wise, just basketball, he makes the most sense. He was an assistant with the Nets a couple of years ago. So he knows the organization. He knows a bunch of the players. Not all of them, because they've made a lot of moves obviously last year, but he knows some of the players. He knows the organization. He did a great job last year with the Boston Celtics. Clearly knows how to coach in this league. He's a good fit. He coached. Jason Tatum, I would say, is a superstar. Jaylen Brown is, maybe not a superstar, but certainly an excellent player. So he also has been a head coach for a team that has several really super quality players on it. Not to the degree of Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, maybe not, but Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown isn't too far off. So he is definitely the best fit. Being said, obviously, the Boston Celtics suspended him for an entire season. Not the NBA. The team, the Celtics, suspended him for an entire year for inappropriate conduct in the workplace with multiple female employees. Also, he had an affair and he made some unwanted comments, got some sort of sexual harassment stuff kind of thing. Very, very unfortunate. Boston suspended him for the entire year. They named their top assistant Joe Mazzulla the interim head coach, and they would address whether Ime Udoka will get his job back at a later date. But they said they would let him leave for another job. I'm not sure if there's I think there's something else behind the scenes, maybe a little worse than we heard. I mean, what we heard is not good. He was having an affair, and he's engaged to Nia Long, who's an actress. They've been engaged, I think, for like 6 or 7 years. They have a child together. First of all, he cheated on his fiancée, who they have a child with. Second of all, they said the relationship he had was kind of inappropriate. It was not appropriate for the workplace. Supposedly, he made some unwanted comments towards multiple female employees that work for the Boston Celtics. I'm not sure who it. They did not disclose who it is. I'm not sure how high up on the totem pole he went. Was it someone, maybe like, was it someone in like the CEO's kind of office? Was it just maybe one of their assistant coach? Was it just one like their special assistants or something? I'm not sure. Did not disclose that, but I do think there's something else going on behind the scenes. Because if they were seriously considering bringing back Udoka next year, reinstating it and keeping him as the head coach next year, bringing him back, I don't think they would let him leave. So maybe they were kind of hoping that all right, we'll suspend him for a year, and maybe because they had confidence that Joe Mazzulla also has a chance to be another really good young head coach. They happen to have 2 really good coaches on their roster, and Ime Udoka, and they happen to have the luxury of having Joe Mazzulla on their staff still. And maybe they were hoping that there's a mid-season coaching change, a team made a mid-season coaching change. Preferably for them, maybe a little earlier on in the season, a team made an early season coaching change, and Of course, they looked at Ime Udoka because he's available because he's not coaching right now, and the NBA did not discipline him at all. It was only the Boston Celtics who disciplined him, hoping that they have interest in him, and they would tell him, hey, and they would say, you may interview him if he leaves us, that is fine. You have to have our word, and hope that they look at him like he's the best option available. He might be able to he can probably turn his team around. Let's get him in there, and he could be our coach of the future because he was not becoming star as a coach just last year. Maybe, and if that didn't happen, if he didn't get hired, then they would probably just take their losses and then would officially fire him after the season. That's what probably was going to happen. So I don't. So they're probably just kind of hoping that he gets out of there just to so it's not their problem anymore, I guess. But it looks like he'll be going back to the Brooklyn Nets. I know it makes a lot of sense, but I don't agree with it because of this. The Nets PR right now is right now is a dumpster fire. Right, I'm gonna take a little bit of a break from this subject. I want to just Kyrie Irving since we're talking about the Nets crappy PR. Kyrie Irving should have been suspended for his anti-Semitic tweets. Absolutely horrifying. The NBA dropped the ball. Joe Tsai dropped the ball. Sean Marks dropped the ball. He should have been suspended. I don't care that he's Kyrie Irving. That should not matter. He should have been suspended. Kyrie Irving is an idiot, and he said some absolutely terrible things. And he seems like he's almost supporting Alex Jones, the guy who just was ordered to pay hundreds of millions of dollars to the victims of a Sandy Hook shooting victims because he said it was fake. He made them relive it. Just a horrible, horrible person that he almost sided with, pretty much. Now the anti-Semitic comments. The dude is a complete idiot, a complete moron. He is stupid. He's a pathetic human being, and he should have been suspended. And if they're doing with his, you got Kevin Durant's whole offseason, requesting a trade, saying you gotta fire the head coach of the GM Sean Marks. And then they'll say, or you gotta trade me if you want to keep them. And then all of a sudden it's like, well, I'll actually play after all. Just obviously the whole the whole thing with Ben Simmons, and just now you fire a head coach, which to me it might seem Evan Roberts, from of course co-host of Courtney Roberts on the WFAN sports radio. He made it. He's a diehard Nets fan, Evan, and obviously he's very good at what he does. He made a point that he thinks that they didn't fire him right away because they didn't want to make them look bad or piss off Kevin Durant. So they're all right. We'll wait a few games and then we'll let him go this season. He makes a point. He might be right. If you fire a manager after last year's playoff series, because of how Kevin Durant is, because Kevin Durant wanted Steve Nash, I knew it would piss off Kevin Durant. So they say, all right, let's wait until the beginning of the season. Let's wait till the beginning of the season. Early on, we'll let him go. We'll wait a couple weeks into the regular season, and then we'll let him go. And then of course that could be possible. Maybe Durant pushed him out. Maybe Durant said. Maybe Durant said enough is enough. You either gotta fire Steve Nash, or you have to trade me, or I'm not playing for you ever again. So then maybe Joe Tsai and Sean Marks just gave in, and they let Nash go. I don't know, but obviously Nash is gone. Ime Udoka may be coming to Brooklyn. I want to talk about some college basketball. Very, very quickly, Kansas has suspended their head coach Bill Self and his assistant Curtis Townsend for 4 games for the recruiting scandal. So they each get 4 games. Just want to mention that quickly. The NFL trade deadline was yesterday. It was the craziest trade deadline in 30 years. Talk about some trades to happen right before the deadline, of course. Right before the deadline, about a week or two before the deadline, the Cardinals traded for Robbie Anderson after he got kicked out of by his own team after he was arguing with the wide receivers coach for a pick. And he had them, of course, McCaffrey. Panthers traded him to the Niners. They got a second and a third and a fourth round this year and a fifth round next year. Of course, The Jets picked up James Robinson after Breece Hall got hurt. You had Dallas on October 25th picked up defensive tackle Jonathan Hankins from the Raiders to help them in the middle of the D-line. They give up a 2024 7th-round pick. They get that as well. They give up a 6th-round pick for that. Of course, the Eagles, they make a move on the 26th to get Robert Quinn, who's a very good edge rusher from the Bears. They give up a 4th-round pick for that. On the 27th, the Chiefs, taking a flyer on from a 1st-round pick last year by the Giants, Kadarius Toney. They give up a 3rd-rounder and the 6th-rounder for him. And now on trade deadline day, you had the Ravens getting Pro Bowl linebacker Roquan Smith from the Bears, and in return they get linebacker. They give up linebacker AJ Klein. They give up a 2nd and a 5th-round pick in that trade. That gives the Bears, I think it gives the Bears 4 picks in the first 2 rounds and then $100 million in cap space next year. So they're definitely loading up for next year. In the big trade, you had the Lions trade tight end T.J. Hockenson along with a 3rd and a 4th-rounder next year to the Vikings. They get back a 2nd and 3rd-round, 2nd-round pick this year and a 3rd round next year. I don't understand that. You finally have something going. You definitely need a new quarterback. You need some help on defense. I don't think Dan Campbell's an NFL head coach. But on offense, you have some pieces. Hockenson, or Amon-Ra St. Brown, Swift, and one of your biggest pieces, Hockenson, you trade away for two draft picks, none of which are first. I do not understand. Then you have the Bears and Steelers trade. The Bears get Chase Claypool for a 2nd-round pick. And I don't think the Bears overpaid. I think it was a decent receiver, a solid 2nd or 3rd receiver. I would not give up a 2nd round for him. It's something for just Fields. It'll help. I don't think they should give him a 2nd round for him, but I do pick up a decent player. If I want to get Justin Fields some sort of receiver help. Steelers and Commanders. Steelers pick up corner William Jackson from Washington. They also get a 2025 7th-round pick. They get up a 2025 6th-rounder in that deal. They got a lot of meters in their 2nd round. They pick up a corner. Dallas make a big move. They get one of the league's best edge rushers, Bradley Chubb from Denver. They also get a 2025 5th-round pick in that deal. They give up Chase Edmonds, who's a complimentary running back. They give up a 1st-round pick and a 4th-round next year, so they give up a 1st-round pick. So Denver Pro Bowl is going to pay Chubb, and they get back a 1st-round pick. They don't have their own 1st, I don't think, till 2025. So now that gets them a 1st-round pick, they have a Niners 1st-round pick because that Dolphins pick they sent was the Niners pick they picked up in the Trey Lance trade. So Denver now owns the San Francisco 49ers 1st-round pick. It's a surprising trade. Jackson picks up Calvin Ridley, the suspended receiver for the Falcons. When healthy, he's one of the league's best receiver, but of course he is. Last year played just 5 games because of mental health problems, and this year suspended for an entire year for betting on football. Atlanta gets back from Jacksonville a 5th-rounder this year and a 2nd-rounder next year. So Calvin Ridley, who should be reinstated after the season, has been traded to the Jacksonville Jaguars. So interesting trade there. That could be a huge steal for Jaguars. Also could be a disaster. So boom or bust move there. Dolphins pick up get some running back help as they trade away Chase Evans for Chubb. They can pick up Jeff Wilson from the Niners, who rolls awfully diminished with them picking up McCaffrey. They have a 5th-round pick, so Wilson reunites with Mike McDaniel, who coached him in San Francisco when he was an assistant coach there before he went to Miami. Broncos get some pass rush help. They pick up Jacob Martin. They get who's a deaf player. They get him and the 2024 5th from the Jets. Jets get back a 2024 4th. The Bills send Naheem. The Bills get Naheem Hines, who's a pass catching running back. They get him. They send one of their backup running backs, Zach Moss, to Indianapolis, and a 5th-round pick. Moss did have some talent coming out of college, 3rd-round pick a couple years ago. Maybe Indy kind of just lightning in the ball. Drew Jonathan Taylor there, but he's having a bit of a down year, and he might not play this week. Then you had the Falcons get some help in the secondary to pick up corner Rashad Fenton for a 7th-round pick. They get him from the Chiefs to get some depth in their secondary. And then last but not least, the Bills also pick up some depth in their secondary, which they did need. They get safety D. Marlowe from Atlanta for a 7th-round pick. So as your NFL trade deadline, the college football rankings have changed since I told you them yesterday because it was the first college football playoff rankings. Tennessee is the number one team in the country right now. Who would have thought? Got Ohio State at 2, Georgia at 3, Clemson at 4, Michigan 5, Alabama 6, TCU at 7, Oregon at 8, USC 9th, LSU 10th, Mississippi at 11th, UCLA 12th, Kansas State at 13th, Utah 14, Penn State 15, Illinois 16, North Carolina 17, Oklahoma State 18. Tulane is ranked 19th. Syracuse is ranked 20th, Wake Forest 21st, North Carolina State 22nd, Oregon State 23rd, Texas 24th, and Central Florida 25th. Now for my game picks. First, college football. On Friday, we got number 23 Oregon State against Washington. I'm going to go with Oregon State. They're having a good year this year. Then for Saturday slate games, number 2 Ohio State against Northwestern. Northwestern is 1-7. Ohio State will blow them out of the water. Texas Tech against number 7 TCU. Big 12 match with TCU right now leading the Big 12. I'll take TCU. They'll look like they might win the Big 12 this year. Number 17 UNC against Virginia. Virginia is horrible this year. I'll take UNC. Number 19 Tulane against Tulsa. Tulane sucks. Tulsa sucks. Tulane's actually playing well this year. I'll take Tulane. Big game. Maybe the game of the year so far. Number 1 Tennessee against number 3 Georgia. The top 2 teams in the best conference in the SEC. I'm actually going to take Georgia. They got the experience in these big games. Stetson Bennett is playing pretty well. They still got a top defense. It'll be interesting. You got Tennessee's explosive offense against Georgia's dominant defense. But I'm going to take Georgia in what's a smidgy time of an upset technically because of their seeds. That should probably get Georgia back to the number 1 spot next week if they win. Number 8 Oregon against Colorado. Definitely Oregon. Colorado is horrible this year. Number 15 Penn State against Indiana. I'll take Penn State. Michigan State against number 16 Illinois. Michigan State is really struggling this year. I'll take Illinois. 18 Oklahoma State against Kansas. Kansas has lost 3 in a row. I'll take OK State. Number 20 Syracuse against Pitt. I'll take Syracuse. Number 25 UCF against Memphis. I'll take UCF. Number 6 Alabama against an arch rival number 10 LSU. I don't trust LSU. To win a big game. I'm taking Alabama. Number 24 Texas against number 13 Kansas State. It's a big game in the Big 12. I'm taking Kansas State. Number 4 Clemson against Notre Dame. Notre Dame is not good this year. I'm taking Clemson. Number 5 Michigan again. Number 5 Michigan against Rutgers. Michigan wins. That's probably a blowout. Arizona against number 14 Utah. Arizona's horrible this year. I'll take Utah. Big game in the ACC. Number 21 Wake Forest against number 22 NC State. The 3rd and 4th best teams in the ACC. I thought Wake Forest was the top contender to maybe possibly give Clemson a run for their money. But now you lose last week. I'm not too sure. NC State also gave Clemson a run for their money when they played them. You know, I'm actually gonna go with NC State in an upset. I'll take NC State in an upset. Number 12 UCLA against Arizona State. Arizona State doesn't even have a coach. I'll take UCLA. And California against number 9 USC. I'll take USC. My NFL game picks for Week 9. Thursday Night Football. Eagles against the Texans. I'm taking the Eagles. Eagles are the best team in the league. Texans are one of the worst. Eagles should cruise in that game. Houston and Philly are playing each other a lot recently with the World Series going on. Now that primetime game. Your 1 o'clock games. Chargers against the Falcons. Chargers are at the Falcons. Falcons are somehow in first place. But I'll take the Chargers. Falcons defense is not very good. They do have Keenan Allen back. Also Eckler, Herbert. They should put up a good amount of points. I'll take the Chargers. Dolphins, Bears. I'll take the Dolphins. Those 2 receivers, Hill and Waddle, are unstoppable. I'll take the Dolphins. Chase Claypool only does so much. Panthers, Bengals. Bengals look off right now. But I'll take the Bengals. Panthers aren't very good. I'll take the Bengals. Packers, Lions. Packers are really struggling. If they lose to the Lions, I don't know what to say to them. I'm going to take Green Bay. Detroit's horrible. Their defense is horrendous. Their offense is slowing down now. I'll take the Packers to finally get back in the win column. Raiders against the Jaguars. 2 struggling teams. I'll take the Raiders. They're less sucky, I guess. Jaguars defense is not that good. I think Derek Carr and Devontae Adams will definitely eat. And shout out to Josh Jacobs having a really good year on a contract year. I think we'll get a nice payday this all season. Colts, Patriots. I'm going to take New England. I don't know who. Obviously, New England's got a bit of a quarterback controversy. Right now, it's Mac Jones. But the Colts look like crap. Sam Milner is making his 2nd career start. Patriots got pretty good defense. I'll take New England. Bills, Jets. I love the Jets. They're not going to beat the Bills. The Bills are probably the league's best team. Jets have a lot of injuries on their offensive line. Zach Wilson, their quarterback, is struggling. do not have a lot of confidence in them, to be honest. I'm taking the Bills. Vikings, Commanders. Mariners are playing well, but the Vikings 6-1 just pick up T.J. Hawkinson. I'm taking the Vikings. I think they win the NFC North this year. 405. Seahawks Cardinals. I'm taking Seattle. Gino's playing his ass off. The offense is firing on all cylinders. Arizona is struggling. Kyler's too busy playing Call of Duty, if you ask me. I don't think their team is that good. I'm taking Seattle. It will probably be a higher scoring game. 425. Rams Bucks, two struggling teams. I'm gonna take the Rams. I think Aaron Donald gets payback on Tom Brady. The Bucks will not be able to block him. I'll take the Rams. Sunday Night Football. Titans against the Chiefs. Titans have won 5 in a row. Chiefs also 5-2. It was a really good Sunday Night Football game. I'm gonna take the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs are just Bills and Chiefs are just head and shoulders above everyone in the AFC. Yeah, I'm not sure if they'll have Ryan Tannehill and Malik Willis behind center for the Titans. I'll take the Chiefs. And Monday Night Football. Ravens. Saints just have too many injuries right now. I am taking the Ravens, who of course have blown a few games this year. Should be 8-0, even though they're 5-3. You know, Lamar's been a little inconsistent. I know their running backs are injured. Dobbins out. They might not have Gus Edwards. But the defense has been fantastic this year, but the Saints are even more banged up. So I'll take the Ravens in that one. All right? That's all I got for you guys today. Thank you to everyone who tuned in. Until next time, so long, and have a great day.